Welcome back to Past, Present, and Politics. Today we're going to be starting off the show by talking about the U.S.S. Liberty attack. Thankfully, a lot of people are starting to wake up to this and are starting to learn about it, but for the longest time, a lot of people did not know about it. And it's important because if you're not an isolationist, it should make you reconsider what our relationships are with foreign countries, especially Israel. For context, the USS Liberty attack occurred during the Six-Day War, when Israel was at war with Syria, Egypt, and Jordan. And it occurred during 1967, June of 1967. So on June 8th, that's when the USS Liberty attack occurred. The USS Liberty was it was a U.S. Navy ship, and it was operating off the coast of Egypt in the Mediterranean, which was international waters. And a few hours before, a group of Israeli fighter jets flew over, not causing any problems, but at 3 p.m. they returned and started attacking the ship. They began attacking the ship with machine guns, with bombs, and with torpedoes. And by the end of the attack, 34 American soldiers were killed and 171 were wounded. Now, plenty of people have made excuses for this, saying stuff like, oh, it was just an accident and mistakes like this happen all the time and it was during the Six-Day War and so they were anxious about Egypt and they thought it was an Egyptian ship. But what these people are missing, or perhaps choosing to ignore, are several key details. For starters, the fighter jets should have known that it was an American ship. They should have been close enough. There was a giant American flag flying on the ship. There were big Latin letters, so not Egyptian, Latin letters, painted on the side of the boat. And it said GTR5. So in pretty big letters. So it was obviously not an Egyptian ship. And the thing is, if it was an accident, like people say it was, then why were all of the radio channels the first thing that was targeted? All of the radio channels were targeted, and so it was to make it impossible for the soldiers to communicate. And luckily enough, one of the crew members saved one of the antennas, and so they were able to make an SOS message out to the Sixth Fleet, and the message was heard by Captain Tully Skipper, who sent jets to come to the rescue. But before the jets could even make it very far, they were recalled by the U.S. Secretary of Defense. And when those jets decided to ignore that, because, U.S. soldiers were being attacked, obviously they wanted to ignore it. They were recalled a second time, but this time by the President of the United States, Lyndon B. Johnson. And he said, quote, "I don't care about a few dead soldiers. I will not embarrass my ally Israel." So Lyndon B. Johnson knew before anyone on the USS Liberty that Israel was the ones attacking them. So this obviously sounds like a planned attack, like it could not have been an accident. And by the way, these facts are confirmed by many eyewitnesses. Like, these aren't just made up facts. There are all of the people who say that it was an accident were not there on the USS Liberty. And so the people who were there, who survived it, are the ones who have to speak up about it. And one of those survivors is Philip F. Turney. And he was interviewed by Candace Owens a while back. So let's see if I can get this pulled up. This is part of his testimony right here.
The flag was brand new. It was a 5x8 flag, very visible. It was 12 knots going over across the deck. You could see the flag, and in fact, the Israelis identified us as American and friendly.
How do you know that?
Well, we know it because of the intercept we picked up, and they admitted it themselves. We were on their war table. They identified us as American. And when they changed the watch, they forgot to tell the other watch commander that we were there. They took us off their war table. So we no longer existed.
So this attack on the U.S.S. Liberty was obviously meant to be a false flag because Israel wanted us to go to war for them. They have always wanted us to go to war for them. We have been Israel's lapdog since JFK was assassinated. And so I just want you to think about it. They attacked us and received no repercussions whatsoever. Does that really sound like an ally to you? All right, so recently Tucker Carlson sat down with Nick Fuentes for an interview. That is what our current event is going to be over today. And the reason why it's so important is because it marked the America First movement becoming mainstream. And Nick Fuentes has been on plenty of interviews before, and people were watching him. He was gaining a lot of popularity. But a lot of people watch Tucker Carlson, and so it was very like, okay, this is like the America First movement is very legitimate. And so since the episode came out, there has been a war that broke out among the right. And this war was brewing before, but it's now more obvious to everyone that there is a clear divide among the right. There's a divide between America first and Israel first, between nationalists and neocons. So the MAGA movement is pretty much over at this point. A lot of people feel completely betrayed by Donald Trump because we wanted mass deportations. We were promised mass deportations and the release of the Epstein files, and instead we got 50-year mortgages and and $12 billion to Israel. So um, we, I mean, we're justified in feeling this way. Um, and the divide will undoubtedly make it harder for Republicans to win elections. And that's just the truth. But although that's true, it's important to remember that the conservative movement should not be inclusive. And when I say inclusive, I mean inclusive to harmful ideas. Um, like the Republican Party today is so pro-choice. Like it's no longer conservative. It's very pro-choice, pro-gay marriage, pro-immigration, like pro-foreign aid. Just like whenever we can, we send billions of dollars to foreign countries, especially Israel, which is not a Christian country. There's no reason why we should be sending them money. Even if they were, but they're not, which makes it even worse. So, because we have compromised over and over again, the Republican Party becomes more and more, less and less conservative, more and more um, anti American. And it's becoming to the point where we've compromised so much that the Republican Party is almost indistinguishable from the Democrat Party. Um, because the party has been so anti-American and pro-foreign war for so long, because the meaning of the word patriot, like what it means to be a patriot, has lost meaning. Now it means supporting all of these foreign wars and not actually helping Americans. And it's frustrating because Trump used to say that he was America first. And so people say that people on the America first side, like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie, betrayed Trump. And they betrayed MAGA. But MAGA is the one that deviated from America first, not the other way around. So we were the ones betrayed. And it's just ridiculous because if the Republican Party no longer helps Americans, then what even is the point? Like, there just is no point anymore. So Like, we are not called to win elections. We're called to tell the truth. We're called by God to tell the truth. That is the most important thing, no matter what. And so it's it's now clear to everyone who is America first and who cares about Israel more than America. And so we just can't continue to compromise on this. We Because our party will just like there's no point in winning elections if your party is the same as the other one. There's no point if it's not going to help the American people. And so it's more important to tell the truth, even if it causes a divide in your party, because some people choose not to tell the truth and some people choose to support Israel and foreign wars. And so that's the main thing that I got from the interview and why I think it's really good. I loved the interview. But one thing that I noticed is that Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson spent a long time talking about the pornography epidemic, which I think is really important. And a lot of people don't realize how big of an issue it is. So I made a list because there's lots of things that Nick Fuentes was saying about pornography, um, and how like it harms you in your mental health. And some of it sounded like crazy to me, and it's all true. Like I fact checked it all, and it's all true. So according to a Scare Behavioral Institute, 87% of men and 28% of women, 18 to 35, view pornography on a weekly basis. Um, there's a lot of people that say like, oh, the like being addicted to pornography is different than just like viewing it every once in a while. But I don't really think it is different. I think it's disgusting regardless, and it harms your health no matter how much you view it. The consequences of viewing pornography are very severe. It like For example, viewing pornography has been shown to negatively affect the brain in several ways. Pornography consumption results in the damage of the prefrontal cortex, which can reduce several uh, issues like self-control and decision-making problems. And it releases dopamine, which makes it more addictive. It causes mood swings and restlessness. It makes you desensitized to it, which can cause addiction. So even just viewing it a couple times causes addiction. And yeah, just so many parts of the brain that it causes damage to. And it results in depression, anxiety, loneliness, suicidal thoughts, increased aggression, lower life satisfaction. And not only does it harm your mental health, it also harms your physical health. Like it greatly affects your hormone levels. With men, pornography greatly reduces testosterone and sperm count, which can cause infertility. The list of mental, emotional, and physical consequences just goes on and on and on. And the worst part of it is that it's not like it doesn't just affect you, it affects the people around you. It affects your relationships, it affects your marriages. It's twice as likely, you're twice as more likely to get divorced if you're watching pornography, which should be obvious. Um, and the thing is, it doesn't just affect adults either. People talk about this like it's just an adult thing. And but if you have pornography readily accessible, kids are going to access it too. And the sad truth is that the common age that people are exposed to this, the average age in which people are exposed to pornography is 10 years old, which is so young. Like I can't even imagine a 10-year-old watching that. And that's the average age according to multiple studies. And so it's just greatly disturbing that people defend it still and say that it should be legal, and it just should be banned. Pornography should just be outright banned. Um, and same thing with like OnlyFans and stuff like that. It just there's no need for it. Just all these people that are like it's speech, like it's protected under the First Amendment. Like no, it is not. Speech is protected under the First Amendment. And like some other forms of expression, I guess, like art, but pornography is not art. It's dehumanizing, is what it is. And it causes so many problems. There's no good to pornography. It does no good to society, so there's absolutely no reason to have it. Um, and it's like it's not protected under the First Amendment. So we should just ban it. It's like it should be banned. Um, because of all of the problems it causes, and it's just I can't even believe that it needs to be said, but it apparently does. So that is what I got from the Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes interview. I thought it was really good and people should watch it. And I'm very glad that stuff like that is being talked about. Not just pornography, but also the America First movement and about the problems that Israel is causing us. Because it's a lot. Um, and it makes me happy that it's becoming more mainstream because more and more and more people are waking up to it. Even people in like my mom's generation are waking up to it, but especially younger people. And so it's very encouraging to me because it says a lot about hopefully maybe the future of America. Thank you for watching this episode of Past, Present, and Politics.